Welcome to Module 2 of this leadership course, which focuses on teams. We often associate leadership with a role or a person. In Part 1, for example, we examined some of the leadership roles performed by the principal. But we also got a strong sense of the leadership roles that teachers and teams and even students perform in a school. That kind of distributed leadership, the kind that is cultivated and practiced throughout the school, is the kind that achieves high levels of success and sustains it. But teams don't just happen. They take some thought, some work, and some support. They also take protected time. In our instruction course, we spent a lot of time discussing how instructional teams operate and how the very specific and detailed work they engage in to improve instruction and student learning. In our school community course, we feature the school community as the team for parent engagement. In this course, we will turn our attention to the leadership team. Part 1, the basics. Before we get into the work of the leadership team, let's get a sense of their basic operating structure. Our success indicators will help us with this. A team structure is officially incorporated into the school improvement plan and school governance policy. All teams have written statements of purpose and bylaws for their operation. It is not enough to just say that a leadership team exists in a school. We all know what can happen to the best of intentions when demands increase but time does not. Strategy disappears and reaction takes its place. Effective teams are strategy essentials in a school. They plan and they do. They require time devoted to their work. A strong leadership team is part of the system of leadership. It is necessary for improving and sustaining student achievement. Officially establishing teams into the continuous improvement process and the school governance policy communicates both the value placed on the leadership team and other teams as well, and the expectation that it happens. It should be very clear to everyone in the school why this team exists and the specific contributions it will make to improving teaching and learning.
The team structure is officially incorporated into the school improvement process. The reason is because this team does a fantastic job of soliciting opinions from other team members and then bringing that to the team as items that we need to decide upon. And that's basically how we've operated.
When this happens, teaming is likely to be sustained, and improved instruction and learning is sustainable as well. Now for the composition of the team and how often they meet. Again, the success indicators make this pretty clear. A leadership team consisting of the principal, teachers who lead the instructional teams, and other key professional staff meets regularly, twice a month or more for an hour each meeting. Meeting any less than this specified amount makes the team ineffective. It is difficult to maintain traction and impact when most of the meeting is spent remembering where you left off last time, or so much has happened in between meetings that the work is suddenly irrelevant. Done right, teams really make the difference between an okay school and an exceptional school. They demonstrate leadership and they build the capacity for leadership at the same time. If you are looking for efficiency, and who isn't in schools today, then look no further than high-functioning teams. High-functioning teams may take a little time to build, but that time can be expedited with a few easy-to-implement practices. They are the focus of our next set of indicators. Let's take a look. All teams operate with work plans for the year and specific work products to produce. All teams prepare agendas for their meetings. All teams maintain official minutes of their meetings. Meeting agendas and minutes are important for a number of reasons. They encourage teams to establish outcomes for each meeting. This helps to keep the team focused on the topics and come to agreements that will advance progress and improvement. They help to clarify roles. Team members may rotate facilitator and note-taker responsibilities for each meeting. This is an important communication tactic that helps meetings run smoothly and members to prepare for specific contributions they are expected to make. They facilitate and track the establishment of agreements, including who is responsible for specific follow-up, which avoids confusion and advances progress toward improvement. Teams should use the same agenda and note-taking format for each meeting and establish a binder or file that is easily accessible. We've provided some sample agenda and note-taking templates in your workbook. They are also provided electronically so that you can adapt them to meet your needs as well. Be assured that using organizing documents like these will make a difference in the productivity and impact of your team. Let's hear a little bit more from our high-performing leadership teams on how they are organized for success, particularly how using agendas in minutes helps to advance their work and make real change in their school.
Well, we are meeting today to go over several items on the agenda, and you can see Mrs. Clark has prepared the agenda for us. Obviously, we have the indicators to follow, and then we have several people that are appointed to different roles that really keep us on task. Our coach, our SSOS coach, really provides a lot of the background, the legwork for us. Then we have a process manager that really keeps everything efficient and organized, especially as far as our agenda goes. And we really operate off that agenda every time we meet.
The following principal interview covers not only the logistics of team meetings, but she also talks about the teaming process and how it unfolds in her school. Be ready to take good notes here, for she makes several good points.
We had been focusing a lot on team structure when I first got here, before we had even started with Industar, and because I knew that collaboration piece was important, because teachers were already working together with interventions but had no time to actually talk with one another and share the data that they were collecting. So with the Industar tool, we used several of the indicators to create a survey, which then helped our leadership team in terms of what are our priorities of focus. And so from that, we dove into the team structure more specifically. So we have instructional grade level teams that meet at least twice a week with specific objectives for each of those meetings. One being analyzing the data that they're getting about student achievement, and two, planning instruction and interventions, so that if we are not seeing growth, that we will hopefully begin to see growth. We have a leadership team that meets monthly. That's been one of the biggest differences, I think, in terms of helping to create buy-in for decisions that are being made. It's a lot different when I stand in front of the entire staff and say, here's what we're going to do, it will help student achievement, versus meeting with the leadership team and everybody from each grade level understanding why this compromise was made, why this team maybe has more support from our parapros at certain times during the day. There's a much better understanding and a much higher level of buy-in for the way our day is structured. The teams all operate with a set group of norms that they establish each year, because whether a new person is added or a new set of improvement focuses are present, they need to make sure they review them, can all agree on them. Each team operates with an agenda set prior to each meeting, and the roles of facilitator and recorder are shared. So everybody has a turn, and I think that helps, because some people are happy to be a part of the team, but aren't maybe as willing to always take some leadership with what is happening with the team. And so by sharing those roles, everybody has that opportunity. And then those agendas are then copied, and I keep a record of them. But I often, probably 90% of the time, am in attendance of the 2 meetings that are required each week. And I think that helps accountability. Not just to the actual meeting and the structure of the meeting, but accountability to, when we're looking at the data, what is it showing? And if these kids are doing well here in this setting, what are the instructional strategies being utilized that might be facilitating that growth? And how is it that maybe we can implement some of those same things for these kids over here who maybe aren't showing as much growth? So I think that there's a sense of collaboration, but there's also a sense of I have to be on my game because this information it's about all of, the team shares all the kids for interventions. And so it's about all of us putting our best instructional practices forward to make sure that they're all, that we're getting the maximum growth that we can. So I think that's been a part of what Industar has helped with, because it's provided so much guidance and research base for all of those practices to be in place.
As with most successful undertakings, there is a level of accountability to the work of leadership teams as well. The principal maintains a file of the agendas, work products, and minutes of all teams. Requiring this information communicates that it should happen. Reviewing it, asking questions about it, and following up on it communicates that the information matters. Apart from the accountability aspect, maintaining this information in one location helps to ensure that all of the school's teams, instructional, leadership, school community council, are working in support of one another and not in duplication. It helps to see that the work is aligned and all pointing in the same direction, improved teaching and learning. We've reviewed the basics of how the leadership team operates. In part 2, we'll dive into the work that they engage in.